Hi, Dave here, and this is a new episode in the RTV series. And today we're going to check out the work of Romain Jouandeau. I think this guy is French. He does live in the greater Seattle area. In the States, you mean? And then there's this Etat Uni. Fuck. What the fuck is that, bro? Apparently he's a senior concept artist at Sucker Punch, Sony. I actually first discovered his work on YouTube. He does have like a lot of process videos. His portfolio isn't even that like big. I actually think he hid a few things. I can't remember, but it's not like overly filled up like his ArtStation portfolio, but he does have enough to show off his skills. And yeah, I did discover him first on YouTube, and I think I was recommended, or one of his videos, his process videos were recommended. He doesn't like do voiceovers, but just seeing how he works is just very, very cool. And by the way, I will link all of his links in the description below if you want to check out his work. I do recommend you follow him everywhere. So yeah. So I think he does have like a lot of like Detroit and Ghost of Fukushima. I think these are games or something, and he does have quite a few of them here. Oh, Ghost of Tsushima. And Detroit Become Human. He does have like a lot of personal work as well. I do recommend you check out his folders he's set up here. Okay. And I've seen him actually show, because you can, in ArtStation, you can show which program he used. And he did show that he does use SketchUp as well. He does use Photoshop, SketchUp, and Blender. But even in his Photoshop stuff, if you just focus on the videos, he paints most of it, and then he photo bashes it to a level where it actually looks very cinematic. You know, it's almost like it's from an actual keyframe of a game. And I'm very interested to actually see his process of that. So for SketchUp, I'm assuming he does like the base to kind of establish the main kind of blocks of perspective and establish the perspective as well, you know, finding the right kind of shot. But what's so cool about his work is he can bring it to this kind of cinematic feel. He'll start out usually with a sketch, and then he can fill it up with like basic colors, like a basic paint over or underpainting, and then he'll do some photo bashing. And then he'll do another paint over, blending the photos together, and everything just looks kind of cohesive that way. And yeah, what's so cool is that he doesn't have to rely on 3D always. I mean, he does have like a new tutorial out where he does use Blender. He does do a sketch beforehand and then use Blender to fill in some details and some forms. And he can kind of fit it to the sketch, which is very interesting. You know, one day maybe I'll probably get into 3D, but right now I just want to focus more on 2D. And a lot of his work does involve kind of keyframe stuff. So he's actually kind of good with storytelling as well. He's not just good skill-wise in terms of painting or doing some 3D stuff or photo bashing, but in terms of storytelling, he does have like a bit of an artistic kind of sense. And it's actually kind of hard to tell whether something is just photoshopped, or 3D kind of sculpted or rendered, right? And a lot of his scenes are very kind of active and not boring, which happens kind of in concept art, you know. Sometimes I do a lot of that kind of thing where I have a very kind of stable scene and it just looks boring. For example, this piece is kind of very dynamic, very cinematic, you know. It's from you're seeing this whole scene from the top. And I know this one is kind of a stable scene, but you know, there is some kind of storytelling at least, you know. So obviously there was some kind of struggle. There are police here investigating some shit, or yeah. Oh, this is kind of a GIF process, a GIF process. And again, that's shit. So sketch and then basic underpainting and then photo bash layer by layer, and then he just paints over it again. And in the kind of finished painting, it's not even that. It looks 3D as fuck. I'm not sure how he does it. Maybe he plays with the with some adjustment layers. Maybe the leveling. Maybe I'm not sure, but in the end, his work still looks very cinematic, right? Like rendered, like 3D rendered. So that's kind of cool. And it does like adding blur in the end, and maybe some noise. You can see here there is a bit of noise. And I also think he adds that kind of 3D thing, you know, that kind of shift between kind of a cyan and a red. That classic kind of cinematic feel. I think you can do it in Photoshop with the lens correction thing. I do have an action for it in Photoshop to save time. But yeah, his work looks very rendered, like it's from a rendered, like V-Ray rendered, you know? The rendering kind of plugin. Fuck. It's so cool. So I believe some of this was kind of blended or 3D blend or 3D modeled in Blender, I feel. But again, it's hard to say because he can like make something look 3D rendered in Photoshop, which is so fucked up. And it's pretty good with photo bashing again. You can see that kind of shift here. You can see the blues and reds. So I think that helps with the cinematic kind of feel, like it's from an actual 3D rendering kind of program. I do believe this is. You know what? I'm going to stop guessing. Oh, I believe he did use Blender here. Very interesting concept. Excuse me, and I think also framing your image in a certain way. For example, this is obviously a cinematic kind of aspect ratio. It's probably 2.39 to 1, I think. That's usually that's my setting for the cinematic kind of feel, and he does put the black thing on top. This could be like the whole thing could be 16 by 9, but because he cropped the top and bottom with some black and filled it in with some black, I think yeah. Oh, a close up. Even though he does things sometimes in Blender, he'll still, I think, paint over it. You can tell. You can even see some of his brush strokes, and he just has. I think if you just check out his portfolio on ArtStation, I'm pretty sure he already has kind of an established process. So he's kind of at the point where he doesn't really have to think about how to paint or how to create an illustration, but he just focuses more on the actual concept. And I think that is a big kind of thing to aim for when you're kind of in the beginning or intermediate kind of level, when you're still trying to figure out your own kind of process, which I'm kind of in that current situation right now. So here he does like a manual traditional sketch in his kind of sketchbook. Some shading with some markers probably. Fuck. This could just be. Again, it's hard to say, but again, he does have that cinematic feel. And it's very clean. It's not overly artsy or impressionistic, sorry, where you can see a lot of the strokes. It's a bit more confined, a bit more clean. So here's kind of a sketch he did. Usually he does like a very simple rough line sketch, and then he'll do a grayscale painting, and then maybe some colors, and then he'll photo bash, but I think he did use some 3D here to kind of fill in some of the gaps, right? Or forms, sorry. And after that, he probably painted over it. He does use like a lot of layers, but I wouldn't say it's like super organized, like planned out. Well, I mean, he has to organize it enough to be able to make a clean type of illustration. I wouldn't I feel like I would probably be more painterly or try to be more painterly just because it's my I lean more towards impressionistic stuff, but this type of art or illustration is very, very impressive. I mean, the fact that he doesn't even need like to use 3D and can just paint it with some photo bashing, he can bring it to a very kind of finished level, and it's a bit envious, envious. Fuck. So these are more concepts on for Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, look at that. Look at this area right here. Jesus Christ. And I'm pretty sure this is photo bashed. I mean, you could tell this guy is kind of painted, but look at how it's well done. So maybe this guy is hiding from something. Or is this guy dead? Oh no, I think he's dead. He was tied up to a tree. Oh no, poor thing. Look at the dash of light. And you can see some of that opening in this kind of tree line on top. You could see that opening here in the leaves or in the roofing via the light spots, right? Very cool. Oh, here you can see kind of a close up, and you can see the kind of shift between the red and the blues or greens, and that is I think you can achieve that through lens correction in Photoshop. This could be a ghost. Fuck. Oh fuck. I mean, it's so highly done, right? Now for a piece like this, it's kind of actually hard to see the painting strokes, which is not bad if you're trying to go for this very clean, presentable look, but I would have gone the more sketchy route or artsy kind of route, where you can see a lot of the painting strokes. Think Craig Mullins, but again, this is very impressive, the fact that he can bring it to this kind of level. Whoa, something is burning. Fuck. Yep. And what's so cool about his work is that it looks very consistent. And again, he does have like a solid process, and I think that's why his work, it doesn't even matter which project he works on, personal or otherwise, his work still looks the same. And I think that's a great thing about being kind of deliberate with your portfolio. If you show a certain kind of look in your portfolio, that's what people are going to expect, and you're probably going to get jobs that want or that need you to do the same thing you do in your kind of portfolio. So there's going to be this kind of cohesive kind of effect, and people are going to essentially make the best use of you, and your kind of style, right? So I think that's kind of the nice sweet spot. Look at that dash of light here. Whoa. And I love how he was able to create this depth. Because sometimes when I paint stuff, it looks very flat, but this one does have a bit of atmosphere, and you can actually feel the scale of this, which is it takes some skill to be able to give that effect or to suggest that kind of feeling, especially with 2D images, 2D paintings. So yeah. So let's move on. Oh, maybe he did use some 3D here. Well, maybe. It's hard. Again, it's super hard to say. But again, it looks kind of like a 3D render, right? I think he did use Blender here. Whoa, fuck. And again, even when he does use 3D, whether he does use 3D or paint or just kind of paints it in Photoshop with some photo bashing, it still looks fuck. It still looks kind of the same. And I'm glad. I think he has like a visual look that he always wants to achieve, and so that's kind of nice. Oh, he does have a tutorial of this. on his Gumroad. I will link the Gumroad link in the description below. And he did use Blender here. He did start out with kind of an initial sketch, and then he did use Blender with Photoshop to kind of achieve this art piece. He does have a trailer for this video, for this kind of tutorial. So yeah. Again, very cinematic, right? And I do like the fact that again he does add this kind of block on top and at the bottom so it kind of like, it looks like an actual keyframe or a frame of a film or game, so that's nice. Whoa, and again he does blur some stuff, and I think that helps with the realism, right? It kind of adds to that depth and all. This could be an old piece, but I'm not sure how he did the kind of grass thing. So he did have a sketch. This was probably done manually. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe, matter of fact, sketch, and then here he did do some photo bashing. And I think this whole thing right here is photo bash, but he was able to blend it eventually. So it did add a few more details to the ship, a few more textures and stuff, right? And he did kind of add this mountain ridge or hill, and then boom. And again, he likes to make it very kind of cinematic, and it's very clean to look at. If you zoom in, you will be able to see some of his brushstrokes, but it's actually pretty hard to see, and you know, that's just his style. Very nice kind of keyframe. I love the particles. Fuck. So this could be some kind of alien something. I don't know. Something is inside this fucking gas station, I think. Is this Stranger Things? Oh, he does have an actual GIF or GIF of this thing, as you can see. And again, it's not like 3D, I think. Maybe a block in SketchUp, and then maybe he did add some 3D in terms of the ship, but most of it is just like painted or photo bashed layer by layer. And I guess it helps to be a bit more organized in Photoshop when you do your layering, so you can actually go back and forth and edit shit out, right? And it's also good with the lights, right? How he kind of diversifies the light sources, especially when he's doing a dark piece. He spreads the light out to all sorts of areas, and it just looks so cool. And it looks like an actual render from some kind of rendering engine, right? It's so impressive. Very, very impressive. In his Gumroad, he does have like just one tutorial of the whole monkey temple thingy. Shit, where is it? Of this. But again, you can always check out his YouTube channel and see his process videos. So this is more of a UFO thing. I love UFOs. So it's kind of a modern vehicle. It's being lifted above. And this kid is kind of witnessing it. And again, very nice storytelling going on here. And he diversifies the lights here. You've got the UFO lights here. This vehicle is being beamed up, and you can actually see this is kind of set in a sunset kind of timeline. You can see that kind of dashes of light shining through the leaves in this kind of area in the foreground, right? and you can see some light in the trees. Wow. He does, I believe he does have a video of this on his YouTube channel, even this one. But he does start out with a sketch, and then he does a grayscale painting, I think, and then establishes the main colors, and then he'll photo bash. He does like a lot of photo bashing faces, right? And then yeah, he just paints over the photo bash stuff to kind of blend things out and make it a bit more clean. And even for this kind of creature, he did use kind of a tiger, a camel, even a monkey's foot, I think, if I recall correctly. But look at that. This is so kind of otherworldly for me, right? And it's so nice to look at. This could actually be some kind of print, and that's another thing that's cool about this work. Is it's very kind of publishable or printable. Fuck. He does have a photo, a video of this as well. This could be a zombie. I believe this is a Star Wars fan art. I love it. I love it. And again, look at how it looks like an actual 3D render. I need to be able to try. I think a lot of this kind of look is established. He has a kind of finishing kind of move where he plays perhaps with the levels. Like he probably has a series of steps when it comes to adjustment layers or something like that to kind of achieve this effect. Because look at how it's so consistent to all of his work, you know? No matter the concept, no matter the project type, it looks very the same or similar, right? Oh, this reminds me of Avatar. You know, the flying kind of jellyfish. Bzz, 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 bzz. Oh, by the way, I just watched episode 4 of the season 2 Mandalorian. I'm so excited to see kind of, I don't know, the other chick, the Ashoka-tan. Am I saying it right? Ashoka-tan. I am very interested to see kind of the live action version. So yeah. Anyway, and I do think there is value in doing some concept art because you're going to have like way more fun. And yeah, I don't think, because there is this kind of stigma the word, where people advise to avoid doing fan art for your portfolio, but I disagree. I mean, you probably don't want to fill your entire portfolio with just fan art. Well, it depends on what type of work you want to do. If you're Sakimi-chan, makes sense, right? But for concept art, I mean, it's not that bad, you know? If you kind of add to the world and make more concepts, right? I think that's legit. So it does have like a series of paintings where they're virtual plein air paintings. So you're not exactly outside painting, you're inside your cave. But you're painting something from reference. And this kind of shows you that this guy is super well rounded. Even his 2D, like pure 2D painting studies is just, it even has the same kind of look and effect, kind of like it's rendered or something, right? And it's kind of like a nice blend between, because you can see a lot, way more of his painting strokes here, but at the same time, it looks so 3D, you know? Fuck. And he has a few of these. I'm very glad that he did show, like, I think this is all under one post, but he even still adds the kind of lens correction effect. This is the 3D kind of effect. Fuck. And you know, he does use layers to be a bit more organized. And he probably used a lot of like layer masks, clipping masks, and stuff like that. Looks very cinematic still. Like an actual fucking render. Fuck. Now here you can see more of his paint strokes. It's kind of a close-up of some kind of a stream, right? He does have a bit of brush variety, but it's actually kind of very clean to me. His brushes do have some texture in some of them, but if you kind of zoom out and see it from the big picture kind of view, it still looks vaguely clean. Like the edges are clean. He doesn't use the mixer brush or anything like that. It's very kind of cut, you know, very sharp. It reminds me of Mikhail Sotruk. I'm probably going to be doing a review of that guy eventually, because he's kind of on my list of artists to review. And it does have, or Romain does have a similar kind of style when it comes to his 2D stuff. Very heavy on the shapes, and I do like how he achieved this look where this side is in light and this side is kind of in dark. So there's obviously a light source coming from this direction as well, not just from this building, but from this side, you know, maybe a truck or something, because you can see in the shadow as well, right? So whoa, look at this. I'm very, very impressed. This one feels way more dynamic. Diagonal kind of thing going on here. Whoa. It's not totally cinematic. A bit. I love how he did the water. He probably warped something here. And again, you can see a lot of his paint strokes. It's actually quite impressionistic, but it's kind of clean still. Almost gouache-like, you know? And you can see a lot of lasso tool use here. He did simplify this kind of these buildings and shit. Here. He was still able to kind of set the mood, the atmosphere, right? Very nice. I think he does have a video of this on his YouTube channel as well, a process video. It's kind of a witch thingy. Oh, look at that. So he did combine a seal and they kind of there are things flying on top. So maybe they're kind of running away. Whoa. I mean, look at this image, very kind of dynamic. It's kind of a keyframe to me. Fuck. Just kind of riding off to the sunset. What? And here a lot of storytelling actually, and he did do this in Photoshop with a sketch, a grayscale painting, and then he did do a lot of photo bashing and just blended everything together. I mean, you can see the actual, his work is very kind of active, like it's alive, like something is happening in the moment. So the glass here just kind of bursted open. Shattered, I think is the word. There's this kind of storm. And they're kind of, oh shit, fuck. They're kind of running away. And yeah. I think when it comes to keyframe, you have to be good in capturing a certain moment. It's not exactly a still moment. Usually keyframes are kind of they're keyframes of a film or game. And there's usually some kind of action going on. Whoa. 2020. Dark winter. Whoa. Okay, so he did use the maybe he did like a manual, like traditional sketch, and then he did some colored studies for underpaintings on Photoshop. So these are some of his initial concepts. I believe he took this one. And then he did some underpainting further in Photoshop. He established the main colors, right? And then he did some photo bashing with it. And look at how it helps. Photo bashing helps you save time with the details and shit. And what this guy is good at is seeing the big picture and being able to just make use of the... He doesn't let the photo bashing do the thinking for him, you know? Unlike me, you know? So he's kind of a master in that regard. Fuck. And he paints over it again to kind of blend things together and finishes it. Yeah. He did add this kind of lighting here, and yeah, looks very cinematic. Look at how it started from here. So a sketch with a underpainting, with an underpainting, and then boom, right here. Whoa. Whoa. Again, it helps to for this kind of style or look, you would have to be quite organized with your layers in Photoshop. Oh, he does have a video of this, no worries. And this is kind of like again the initial sketch and an underpainting, kind of establishing the lighting and the colors, right? And then he just builds up the painting with Photoshop. Obviously, I mean with photo bashing, sorry. And this is actually a front of a car, right? But yeah, look at that. It looks so cinematic. This actually feels like it's from Star Wars, right? And a lot of his work actually focuses more on sci-fi, for the most part. He does have like a few fantasy stuff, but a lot of it is kind of focused more on sci-fi. And yeah, it does feel very Star Warsy, right? The aliens, the kind of vehicles and shit. The architecture in the background, it looks very... I mean, look at how finished it is. And again, it looks like nothing is out of place, you know? And that's what's so interesting. Everything is just kind of tied up well. Very finished looking, you know? Very presentable. Fuck. And this is his last piece that we're going to check out today. Heavy on the photo bashing here. But again, he was still able to achieve the kind of keyframeness, like something is going to happen here. And he does add that cinematic effect. You can see it, especially in this kind of blurred area, right? And it creates this kind of depth, especially when you kind of blur things in your foreground. Look at that. So these are kind of vined and shit. I'm not sure if she's the one controlling it or if nature is about to attack her or something. Whoa. Whoa. That's a big fucking arm though. Nice monkey. Lots of particles as well. Very common in his work. I think it helps with the kind of 3D rendered look. Just add some particles and shit. But again, it still looks so fine. So kind of tied up, right? Very, very consistent with the colors, with the rendering. One day, hopefully, I will reach not exactly this kind of style, but a certain kind of approach where my work in the end ends up looking consistent to one another, despite the concept, despite the project, right? So hopefully, over time, I'll reach this kind of consistency, which I do like seeing in his work. So that's it for this video or this episode of the RTVC. Oh shit, sorry about the I'm out of water. Give me a second. Fuck. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, I just got some water because my mouth was kind of just being very saliva-ish. So yeah, I think that's I think we can end the video here. This episode of the RTV series concerning Romain. What's his name? I can't remember. I can't pronounce this. Jouandeau. Yeah. Je ne comprends pas le français. I think it means I can't understand French. So that's kind of the only phrase I know in French. I think this guy is French. Because I've seen him in the comments kind of reply to Frenchy kind of phrases or questions or statements. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please follow him on ArtStation. I followed him here. Check him out. I'll provide all the relevant links of Romain in the description below. Keep painting and stay free. Yeah, I think I said it too soon. Oh shit. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, this episode. And yeah, keep painting and stay free.